Jinkx Monsoon. Hello, I'm Jinkx Monsoon. 30 years ago, I gave birth to a gay homosexual son. And now that he's a grown-up, I've decided to finally give a shit. Because I'm not a regular mom. I'm a cool mom. I'm so pale. Hi everyone, I'm Jinkx Monsoon.
And I'm Kamikaze Monsoon.
And I'm Jinkx Monsoon. 5 years ago, me and my son took a whirlwind trip through Europe, of all places. This may not sound that monumental to you because you've probably been to Europe already, and you're like, what's the big deal? But listen, I was raised poor white trash. I never thought I'd leave my own backyard. And here I am all of a sudden in Europe. I think it's a pretty big deal. So we're here to acknowledge that on this episode of Cool Mom.
Cool Mom.
If you're watching Cool Mom right now, you're probably a fan of RuPaul's Drag Race. So you know that once a girl goes on RuPaul's Drag Race, doors start opening. So after I won my season, I was asked to do a whirlwind tour, London, Amsterdam, and Dublin, Ireland. I was so excited to go to Europe that I thought, why not bring along my son and my best friend with me? And what followed was one of the best, worst times of my life because I decided to share it with those closest to me. So why don't you set the scene a little bit?
Jinxing around, theme song, original concept, going around the world, little globe, bouncy heads.
So our first stop was in Amsterdam, right?
And that was my first trip to Amsterdam, except for one time when I was there for like 2 nights and I stayed.
So it wasn't your first trip?
It was my second.
Okay, I'm shutting this down. It was my first trip to Amsterdam. And as a high-functioning stoner, I was very excited. Little did I know that the locals to Amsterdam don't smoke weed, really. Every boy is over 6'4". They all are gorgeous. They all have giant penises that could easily knock you out with one
Fell swoop.
club to the forehead. And they're all super polite because they're always on drugs.
Mm-hmm. It is funny that they hate weed, but they
love every other drug they do pretty much every night of the week. Taking ecstasy to go up and then taking GHB to come down. Like literally they're like.
With like whippets as like a buffer.
Like we did the gig early in our trip to Amsterdam and then the rest of the time we were just hanging out. Anyway, so we go to a party and I hate to admit this, but yes, your mom did a little bit of Molly at the club. What was the party called?
Pop queers.
Pop queers. As in like, oh God, I'm so sick of that house music with those pop queers. And the whole party was just everyone's on drugs. We walked down the stairs and what is this nightclub bouncing to?
Da 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 da.
These Dutch kids are dancing to Shania Twain's Man, I Feel Like a Woman. And every Dutch kid is screaming at the top of their lungs, man, I feel like the women. Just living their
I've never
life.
seen anyone have more fun than a little Dutch boy dancing.
The only low point is when I got hit by that car.
Oh yeah, you did get hit by a car.
Here's what happened. I'm heading back to my hotel after a particularly raucous evening. And
Is the ecstasy kicking in right now? Are
I
you okay?
feel like I'm reliving it. I'm crossing the street, some fans, I don't know, recognize me. And they're like, is that Jinkx Monsoon? I'm like, yes, darling, it's just me. Hello. And as I'm like soaking in all my adoration, a car comes whipping around the corner, driving backwards, at full speed, hit my body like a charging rhino, knocked the joint right out of my hand.
Well, it's hard for me because I get a text at 2 a.m. that's, I was hit by a car.
That's exactly.
No follow-up.
And then I didn't say anything else. I was like, by the way, hit by a car.
And then at 9 you texted me, by the way, I'm okay.
But this is what's insane about the story. I was so drunk, you guys, that it probably saved my life.
Yeah.
Because what happened is I was so drunk that my body went limp like a rag doll. I flopped over the car. All these people come rushing, flocking to me to see if I'm okay. And I'm telling you, I stood up and I was fine. And they say that stuff kills. I did have a slight headache though. I had a slight headache! But I was okay. I'm fine. There were no ramifications. I'm fine. Like, there's no physical or psychological damage. I'm fine. I'm fine, Kami. I'm fine, okay? So let's change the subject.
Travel tips. This is what you do. Do the stuff in the countries, different places.
We didn't steal this premise from anyone else.
Cool, Mom.
Do you have any travel tips for our viewers? Any wisdom you'd like to impart?
Okay. I guess if you get gonorrhea while you're in Europe, hypothetically, you should, I don't have a follow-up, I just wanted to bring that up.
I did get gonorrhea in Europe. You weren't there. Okay, if you get gonorrhea in a foreign country, the best thing to do is just go to whatever their version of an ER is. I was in Venice and I found out I had gonorrhea. I open myself up to you so that you can learn from my experience. Because listen, if you have sex, STDs may eventually happen. It doesn't mean you're a bad person or you did anything wrong. It just happens, you guys. It even happens to famous drag queens on their one and only trip to Venice where they're not working, they just get to go and have a good time. My vacation was ruined.
Oh, have you seen Venice
it wasn't.
though?
I had a great time. Venice was beautiful. I barely cared that my genitals were on fire. In any case, I got it in San Francisco.
Whoa, you're bringing diseases over.
I brought American
gonorrhea
to Venice. Anyway, alsjeblieft.
What does that mean?
You're welcome.
Ah.
It's very interesting in Amsterdam. So here's the thing in Amsterdam. They say you're welcome, their phrase for you're welcome before you say thank you. Where it's like if you were to do that in America, like if the server brought you your food and went, you're welcome, before you said thank you, that would be so passive aggressive. But in Amsterdam, they set down your food and they go, alsjeblieft, and you go, dankjewel. And then it's weird. I can say this. Ik hou van jou, viewers, and to have a great rest of your goedemorgen. I can't be replicated. This is a one of a kind.